So when we look at our U.S. national security considerations, you know, the fundamental question, do we need to reframe what it is we're doing? Yes. All right. The second thing is, when you look at our end strength of 569 in 2010, and we're down to 475,000 today. And our police force is under a withering assault. Why is that? And the security is going through, you know, security challenges are going through the roof. Why is that happening to us? And how are we going to turn that around? It seems to me that we've got to turn that around if we're going to be successful. So when you look at an interesting statistic, 3,445 Americans have been killed on U.S. soil. Look at the number from Afghanistan. All right, the number from Afghanistan, this is a 2015 number, 2,326. So we have more people killed since 9/11 here on home soil. Begs the question, all right, is our homeland now a battlefield? Are all of us now combatants? You know, we've been at this war for 15 years. You know, Einstein's definition of insanity is to do what? Expect a different result, right? So, you know, I start looking at this and say, okay, how do we mobilize the industrial base to win? You know, and and it's this whole transparency thing. At some point, we're going to get to the point where we got to start changing our laws to better integrate with the threats that we're being confronted with. So let's talk a little bit about the asymmetry that we're seeing. You know, in World War II, when you had something like Nazism, a real powerful ideology, that was executed in physical space, physical maneuver space, with soldiers. Soldiers did the fighting. All right. Today, and we've got tons of doctrine for how to do that. Today, we've got this powerful ideology that can be sent out globally, and now we have this thing called virtual space maneuver, where we're maneuvering one population on another population. And civilians are the ones now that are doing the fighting. All right? That's a major shift. All right, so how do we reconcile physical space maneuver with virtual space maneuver and radical ideologies? So what can you do? I'm not going to go over each one of these things, but you know, values-based leadership, you know, the American people can handle the truth. We've got to tell them the truth, and we've got to mobilize them to do the adaptive work that's in front of us. We've got to reframe what we're doing and find strategies that are going to actually work, and then we got to fund and invest in our training. I'll leave you with this slide. The quote that's up there from Admiral Bill McRaven. He was the four-star general who was responsible for the mission that killed Osama bin Laden. I was on the first mission, along with a whole bunch of other great guys to try to kill bin Laden, and he was the guy that carried it out. And he wrote this in our book, Uncommon Bonds: A Journey in Optimism. All men die, but not all men truly live. All right, I've had an opportunity with my two brothers to have this incredible experience. I'm not sure why I'm standing here in front of you today. You know, it should have been. I mean, I really don't know. But I've also had that experience serving in our armed forces. Okay, we have a tremendous amount of challenges in front of us, but we also have a tremendous amount of potential in our country to do what we need to do. The United States has always had these threats. Always have. So I'm going to conclude with this, and I'll tell you what I told the guys before we jumped into to Afghanistan, and we'll open it up for questions. I stood up in front of the 199 Rangers that were getting ready to jump into Afghanistan. I said, I'm going to leave you with this scripture verse. It's from Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous. Do not tremble or be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And I said he's going to be with us tonight. And he's with us now. Our country. The question is, are we going to turn to him and get back to what our roots are?